A day for the ages, April Fool's Day, a day of laughter, trickery, and good-natured fun. It's a day when the world collectively agrees to let loose, play pranks, and revel in the absurdity of it all. But where did this tradition come from? Buckle up, because the history of April Fool's Day is as slippery as a greased piglet at a county fair. Some historians believe it originated in ancient Rome with a festival called Hilaria. Others point to medieval Europe, where the Feast of Fools saw commoners playfully mocking authority. The truth is, nobody knows for sure, and you know what? That's okay, the mystery only adds to the fun. Because ultimately, April Fool's Day isn't about historical accuracy, it's about embracing the unexpected, the ridiculous, and the joy of a good laugh. So put on your silliest hat, grab your whoopee cushion, and get ready to dive into the wonderful world of April Fool's Day. Mysteries and mayhem, the history of April Fool's Day. Let's try to pin down this historical butterfly, shall we? One popular theory links April Fool's Day to the adoption of the Gregorian calendar in 1582. See, before that, the Julian calendar was all the rage. It celebrated New Year's Day around late March, but then Pope Gregory XIII came along and said, "Hold my papal tiara." He introduced a new calendar that shifted New Year's Day to January 1st. Some folks didn't get the memo or just flat out refused to accept the change. They continued celebrating in late March. Naturally, they became easy targets for pranks and were labeled April Fools. It's a fun theory, right? But like a politician's promise, it's not entirely solid. Another theory points to the vernal equinox, which falls around March 21st. This time of year is known for its unpredictable weather. One minute it's sunshine and rainbows, the next it's a hailstorm of biblical proportions. Some believe that April Fool's Day originated from this meteorological mayhem. People would play pranks on each other, mirroring the unpredictable nature of the season. It's a compelling idea, right? Just like the existence of Bigfoot. We want to believe. Pranks for the history books. Now let's talk about the good stuff, the pranks. April Fool's Day has birthed some legendary pranks that would make even the most serious person crack a smile. Take, for example, the time in 1957 when the BBC aired a completely serious news report about a bumper crop of spaghetti growing on trees in Switzerland. People were amazed. They flooded the BBC with calls, eager to learn how they too could cultivate their own spaghetti trees. It was a masterpiece of tomfoolery. Then there was the time in 1992 when NPR, the bastion of sober news reporting, announced that Richard Nixon was running for president again. They even played fake Nixon campaign ads, complete with a voice actor who sounded eerily like the former president. Listeners were shocked. Had Nixon learned nothing from Watergate? Was he really going to put the country through another election? Of course, it was all a hoax. But for a brief, glorious moment, NPR had everyone fooled. And who could forget Google's annual April Fool's Day shenanigans? From announcing a teleportation device to claiming they were developing a search engine powered by pigeons, Google's pranks are always creative, elaborate, and utterly ridiculous. They're the pranksters' equivalent of a Michael Bay film, over the top, absurd, and undeniably entertaining. Section 4. A World of Fools. International April Fool's Day. Traditions. April Fool's Day isn't just an American thing, you know? Oh no, this holiday is celebrated around the world, with each country putting its own unique spin on the tradition. Take France, for example. They call it Poisson d'Avril, which means April fish. The French, being French, decided to make the day all about fish. Traditionally, children would tape paper fish to the backs of unsuspecting victims. Now, they mostly just eat chocolate fish, because, hey, any excuse to eat more chocolate, right? Then there's Scotland, a land known for its kilts, bagpipes, and a healthy sense of humour. They celebrate April Fool's Day twice. That's right, 2 whole days of pranks. The first day is called Hunt the Gauk Day, where a gauk is basically a silly person. The second day is called Taily Day, which involves, you guessed it, pinning things to people's backsides. Apparently the Scots have a thing for unsuspecting derrieres, and then there's Iceland, the land of glaciers, volcanoes, and apparently elaborate travel pranks. They call it Hlaupa April, which means running in April. The goal? To trick someone into going on a wild goose chase, sending them on ridiculous errands or to non-existent locations. Section 5. social media shenanigans, April Fool's Day in the digital age. Now, let's talk about how social media has injected a whole new level of chaos into April Fool's Day. Remember the good old days when you only had to worry about your friends and family pranking you? Well, those days are gone. Now it's a free-for-all. Every brand, company, and their grandma is trying to outdo each other with viral hoaxes and fake news announcements. One minute you're scrolling through your feed, and the next you're reading about the discovery of a real-life dragon or a celebrity endorsing a product that's just plain ridiculous. It's enough to make you question your sanity, but hey, that's part of the fun, right? Social media has turned April Fool's Day into a global stage for creativity, absurdity, and the occasional dose of healthy skepticism. Just remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, especially on April 1st. Section 6. A Fool's Philosophy, Embracing the Lighter Side of Life. But beyond the pranks, the hoaxes, and the general tomfoolery, April Fool's Day offers a valuable lesson. The importance of not taking ourselves too seriously. In a world that often feels weighed down by stress, anxiety, and bad news, April Fool's Day is a much-needed reminder to embrace the lighter side of life. To laugh at ourselves, to find joy in the unexpected, and to appreciate the absurdity of it all. It's a day to let go of our inhibitions, to be silly, and to remember that sometimes the best medicine is a good dose of laughter. So, this April Fool's Day, let's all make a conscious effort to channel our inner fool. Let's embrace the ridiculous, the unexpected, and the downright hilarious. Because in a world that often feels like it's spinning out of control, a little bit of laughter can go a long way. Section 7. Share your stories. Now, it's your turn. We want to hear about your most epic April Fool's Day experiences. Did you pull off a legendary prank? Were you the victim of a particularly clever hoax? Share your stories in the comments below and let's keep the laughter going. Subscribe, like a video, and share source appnews.com.